Hi guys, happy new year. So we're gonna start with the perfume CD and read of the day. And beverage, just made myself a latte in this beautiful mug. The perfume of the day is Dosson by Diptyque. This is inspired by a town in Vietnam, I think, which is where one of the creators of Diptyque spent a lot of time. Um, and I just feel like it's crazy how it transports you to a place that you've never been. It's an incredible smell. Very floral, tuberose, and I love the art at the back. So the CD of the day or album is this one. This is the Cranberries. I love the art as well. Like, look how beautiful this is. Incredible. The current read, well, I'm still reading the book Boredom by Alberto Moravia. And midway through, I decided to vlog the experience because I think this is going to be one of my favorite books. This is a very, very interesting book. It's about a failed artist that lives in Italy and his relationship with boredom, or what he explains how what he thinks that boredom for him is this detachment from life. So it's quite existential, but he's a bit funny. I honestly love and hate um, main characters like this. But yeah, it's a really, really, really good book. Did I pick this up because it's NYRB? Yes. Do I regret it? No. Journaling, I did like 3 pages this morning. I never set myself a set of pages that I need to write or anything like that. But I felt very inspired for the new year. And yeah, it's the best way to start your mornings. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about my 2026 research curriculum. But we're going to start off first with why I am doing this in this way, as in actively researching. First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that some of the best education that you can get actually in the rabbit holes that you lose yourself in. I feel like we can all relate. Sometimes we just go on this rabbit hole on YouTube or yeah, anywhere, or even through the library or books or something about a very random topic that you're interested in. And I think it's the action of losing yourself in that research that I want to actively practice this year. So in 2026, I will be building my own research curriculum, and these are the reasons I think you should as well. I think we can all acknowledge that we live in a time where we have information, endless information at our fingertips, yet we somehow still find ourselves doom scrolling on social media. Instead of feeding our curiosity, we are feeding the algorithm. Honestly, it's just such a shame. I have always loved researching just for the sake of research, like not for the purpose of an exam or a presentation or work or anything like that, but just rather because I am interested, genuinely interested in the topic. It would be about the most random, obscure topics, like that have nothing to do with maybe what I've studied or my job, or yeah, just random interests. And last year I started taking notes and actively learning instead of just reading books and the information kind of just passing through me. It made my brain feel more engaged, make connections between different interests as well. I'm going to make a video soon about how exactly I research about topics that I'm interested in, but this video is more about kind of the topics that I'm going to focus on 2026, so that you can maybe get inspiration or some ideas. So yeah, grab a notebook, any random notebook that maybe you haven't used last year, and start building your 2026 research curriculum about topics that you want to know more about. Some practical tips that I have include picking topics that you're curious about. Don't fall in the trap of trying to be or look more intelligent, or just trying to choose like smart topics to research about. This is for you and for you only. It's kind of like journaling. Like, you journal for yourself. You're not journaling to be seen as someone that journals, or at least that's what you should be journaling. Use books, YouTube, and essays, and libraries. I think as a society, we kind of have, in a way, forgotten that libraries exist. And I think this is a great opportunity to just take a day off, go to the library, and lose yourself in books. Also, of course, you don't have to only get this information from books. You can even watch YouTube. I think YouTube is incredible. YouTube University, incredible. You can learn about anything. Substack is also a good source. One is to actively take notes. And this is going to force you to, one, use notebooks that you have just laying around. I'm a victim of this as someone that is obsessed with stationery. This just forces me to use my notebooks. For example, the notebook that I use myself for research this year is this Penco general notebook. I just like that it's slim, I like the size, and I like the paper quality, but any notebook will do. Just researching about, well, taking notes from the book that I'm reading right now, which is The Revenge of Gaia, which I already showed you guys in my previous video. My other tip is to make it playful and not feel pressure. So yes, I am going to talk about a list of topics that I would like to delve into deeper this year, but it's not like a checklist. It's not something that I'm going to get to the end of the year and I'm going to feel bad if I didn't do research about a certain topic. It's not like that at all. It's just to keep in mind or have a log of things that I am interested in, which is something that can change as well, and you can add to it. And the reason why I don't do it in a monthly basis is because some months I just don't have time to read and research, and that's okay, because I still have a full-time job, I still have a life to live, and this is more of a hobby for me. I'm not putting pressure on myself to do the research. So yeah, just keep it as something light, a hobby that you enjoy, and then you will feel more and more inclined to do it instead of feeling like it's homework. Like, I think this video specifically is more towards people that maybe have finished their studies, but also if you're at uni or school, and I still encourage you to, of course, research about things that you're interested in and learn, and not just stick to your school curriculum. Because as someone that has finished school a while ago, I think it's important to keep your brain active, to keep it being able to focus for a long time. It's just, yeah, like, do you miss learning? Because I do. Helps you to practice deep thinking instead of just scrolling through your phone, which is just passively letting information flood your brain, but nothing really is sticking. Just to say it again, don't feel pressure to make it look smart or academic about anything, even like random topics. Like one of the things that I want to research is bonsai trees, because I like bonsai trees. Reasons why I think lifelong learning matters, and why you should do your own 2026 research curriculum. So now we're going to move on to my own curriculum, which, yeah, feel free to take maybe notes or inspiration from it if you're also interested in these topics. So I've written it in my Hobonichi notebook. This is what my list looks like. The first topic that I want to research this 2026 is Carl G. Jung. He is a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology And he also worked very closely with Freud, but then he broke away because he had different views on what the unconscious mind is. When it comes to Carl J. Jung, I want to research and read his book, Man and His Symbols. This is where he explores key archetypes and symbols across humanity and how symbols are the language of the unconscious. In his view, the collective unconscious is like a deeper layer of consciousness that is shared by all human beings regardless of culture or your individual experience. I've always found this topic super interesting, and I really, really want to read his books. So this is going to be the year that I am going to prioritize it. The next topic I want to learn from him is from the book Modern Man in Search of a Soul. This explores spiritual psychology and the challenges of modern society. Very related to Carl Jung is Freud's psychoanalysis. I want to finish the book The Interpretation of Dreams, which is this book here. I actually got this one in a random secondhand bookshop in Egypt, and it was such a nice experience and a random find. I love how used the book is. But yeah, this is not a light read. It's basically a recollection of his encounters with, I guess, are they clients? And how he's analyzing the dreams of his clients and how this is related to their experience. Next topic is deep ecology. I've always been interested in, sustainability, ecology, and just the environment in general, but deep ecology is an environmental philosophy that goes beyond traditional conservation by emphasizing that everything has intrinsic value and that the value of other animals, beings, etc. in the world does not depend on their usefulness to humans. Deep ecology was coined by the Norwegian philosopher Arne Naes in the 70s. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I want to study Gaia as a self-regulating entity, and I've already started doing that. As I said, I am reading this book. This is The Revenge of Gaia. I also want to read his research papers, Arne Naes' philosophical writings. I want to read about the intrinsic value of nature, indigenous worlds views in ecology, which that brings me to one of my favorite books ever, and that is Braiding Sweetgrass. This is by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and it's Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. I read this a couple of years ago, and although I do remember a lot of it, and I do remember that I loved it, it was a 5 out of 5 star for me. Just wish I took notes. I wish I had my own summary and my key takeaways from this book so that I could look back at it. And I think this is a book that I'm going to be rereading this year because it's deeply, deeply connected to the philosophy that I'm talking about, deep ecology. I am also interested Darwin's views, and I've got this book, same bookshop, secondhand bookshop in Egypt. This is Ever Since Darwin, and it's Reflections in Natural History. I just think it's just so interesting, and they're all kind of related. And this is what I mean about maybe if you put down your thoughts in terms of what you're interested in, somehow everything is related. And I think it says a lot about you and your personality, maybe, that I want to read this year, which is called Ecology. It's got lots of drawings, and I think it'll be fun to read. Related to deep ecology, I want to learn about criticism. So I want to learn about the elitism, feasibility, and cultural bias as well. There's this book that I am so interested in, which is How Forests Think and Eco-Psychology, in those. And then I also saw on eBay someone posted their final year project or something, and it was titled Who Owns Nature? And it's this kind of like zine. And I just thought that the title was so eye-catching, just Who Owns Nature? So I'm thinking about getting that as well. I'll link it down below if you're interested. But yeah, if you didn't know, you can actually find people's writings on eBay, which I think is so cool. This is the year of philosophy reads. I have read a couple of philosophy books last year, but I think I should have prioritized it because there's so many philosophy books on my TBR that I really, really, really want to read. And this is the year that I'm going to do it. I've got a list for Western philosophy and a list for Eastern philosophy. For Western philosophy, I have Jean Paul Sartre. So I want to learn about his concept of nothingness, which brings me to another book that has been on my TBR for a while, which I actually cannot remember for the life of me whether I read this or not, but it's Jean Paul Sartre, Nausea. If I read it, I can't remember anything. It has been in my TBR, and that is Existentialism and Human Freedom. Also seen this book on Pinterest the other day, which was really eye-catching, and that was by Soren Kierkegaard, and that is Stages of Life, and just learning about his idea of truth being subjective and rooted in individual experience. I want to read more about his books that cover authenticity and what that is. When it comes to Plato, I think I am going to read The Republic. That book has been on my TBR for ages, and I really, really, really want to read it and just research more about Plato. Philosophy was actually one of my favorite subjects in school, and ever since, I don't have philosophy as like a school thing, I miss it so much. Justice covered in The Republic, and I also want to read the Phaedrus, also connected to my Eastern philosophy list. And I want to start on that with the Kama Sutra of Vatsyayana and the Phaedrus of Plato. So this is going to compare the Eastern and Western view on love. I don't know, I just find it just so eye-catching and interesting, and it seems like a dense read. So yeah, that's why I'm adding it as a research topic, because I think I want to really delve deep in this book because of how it compares these Eastern and Western views. I'm just very, very, very interested of Simone de Beauvoir and also Hegel. And finally, on Western philosophy, I also want to look into the philosophy of physics. And on physics as well, I've had this book for a while. It's a very accessible read. I have studied science, but not really like deep physics. But I have always been super, super interested about it. And I honestly don't think this is another thing. If you were interested in something as a kid, but you ended up not studying it, this is also your sign that you don't need to study something at uni, like in an official way, to feel like you can't research about it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm interested in physics, and I think this is a very, very accessible read. And there's an introduction by Carl Sagan as well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this. On Eastern philosophy, I've got on my list Taoism. So I want to read this book that's called the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I also want to read the Bhagavad Gita, which is a central Hindu scripture that explores duty, devotion, and nature of reality. There's this book that I want to read. In general, any like Tibet teachings. There's this book that I'm very interested in, which is called The Book of the Dead. I really want to learn yoga properly. I've been into yoga for a while. I go to some classes, but I want to learn traditional yoga and just like improve. And I also want to research about it. So yeah, I got this book. This is written by a Western man, Ernst Wood, but the cover itself is just so beautiful. Am I reading this book just because of the cover? Maybe. But just as a topic, I really want to research about yoga and its benefits to the body and to the mind. Take notes and maybe even like keep a track on how I'm progressing with the different poses and how I feel on each pose. Just a deeper way of learning about yoga. In terms of other Eastern philosophy, I also very interested in Sufism, and I want to read more of Rumi's writing, specifically Mysticism of Sound and Music and the Masrani by Rumi. I've got this book called Radical Love. This is teachings from the Islamic mystical tradition. How beautiful is this? This is a poetry book, so it's not like I'm doing research on this book, but just Sufism in general. It's a topic that I've always been interested in, and I feel like I don't set aside enough time to learn more about it. I also want to research more about photography, um, more about film photography and how authentic it is compared to digital. And when it comes to visual storytelling, I have written a couple substacks on film photography, and it's just something that I would love to delve deeper into and just share the knowledge that I find. How limitations of film shaped reporting and ethics. I also have this book that I want to read that is called Anthropology and Photography. And this just examines how photography was used during colonial period to construct narratives about the other, the criticism of photography and how it involves power dynamics. I want to learn more about Japanese photographers, especially from the 50s and 80s. Daido Moriyama, Masahisa Fukase, and Nobuyoshi Araki. I've got a Nobuyoshi Araki book here, but I want to learn more about how they got to where they got in terms of their art in photography. Then I had a list that says just random, and one of them is actually bonsai trees, like I said before. And I've got this book that I look at a lot of mornings actually with my coffee. I think it's so beautiful and inspirational, just very serene. I got this in a temple, in a rock temple. I put the name on the screen, but I got it in a temple in Kyoto. And its books are honestly one of the best souvenirs that you can get. I opened this book and it automatically takes me back to Japan. It takes me back to calmness of Kyoto, of this temple is so beautiful. The one is Amazigh jewelry. I'm very much into tribal jewelry. I'm Amazigh myself. I'm very interested in learning more about my ancestors' culture and their relationship to jewelry and what that meant for them. Herbalism as well. I'm very interested in optimizing my health this year too. And I think I want to learn more about natural ways to do that. And herbalism is one of them. I have read lots of books and stuff like that, but again, I did not take notes. I didn't actively research. And so it feels like the information just goes through my brain and I don't have something where I can pin it down. Yeah, those are my topics. I hope you got some inspiration to add in your list as well. And maybe if you did your list while watching the video, I would love to know what you guys are researching this year. And just a final remark on how this research is for you and for you only. And again, don't feel like you have to sound intellectual, smart, or anything. If you're not interested in philosophy, then don't read about philosophy. If you're in the act of researching, I think is the benefit that you get from this, and how again your interests will help you know yourself more, because when you write them down, you research about them, and you have a more clear picture of what you're interested in, your brain finds it more easier to connect the dots and connect things. This was the video for today. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe. Thank you guys.